Okay, the driver of Toyota Yaris, number plate BV62NWX, starting the blue plaid shirt parking area. Please move your car, please. That's a Toyota Yaris BV62NWX. Thank you.
So literally, I just looked at Stuart, like, and also, like, all the cars parked there, and then there's this one here, and I was like, what happened? He went, you just drove past me 6 cars, and you saw this 30-year park. I said, you're there, just stop. I know, but I prefer them to be like that.
That's better way around.
It is though, because at least, although it was funny because I said, okay, I hadn't done, and I hadn't put all of the Middlesex stuff, I didn't touch everyone on there, and they were stopping, and I was like, no, I said, because I thought you weren't going to come in Middlesex brand new kit, so I thought, you know, by saying anyone that was Middlesex staff or wearing a uniform, or, and then I put you and as staff, no, you're not staff, you're not on the list. Sharon was half the cars, hence all of them cars were parked there, because they were ringing me, and I went, oh. Their cars were parked there because they were running so late, they just had to drive to park there and unload all the stuff to them. I was like, alright.
Because they can't believe someone so young and unhaggard could be chief executive, something like that. Fresh face.
Yeah, we didn't know. Ian Brayshaw used to be our coach at Kent, didn't get into Grace Road because Stuart wouldn't let you. To phone one of the boys and thank you for being the coach.
Yeah,
And the bloke on the gate was like, yeah, sorry mate.
You okay?
Could be anyone. I'm in tracksuit, if you've never seen that before. It doesn't mean anyone these days.
It does happen though, doesn't it? Yeah, sometimes test matches, the bumps and to the ground.
Well, I've been at Bristol before on the boundary edge for Sky Sports News, about to go and do the toss. I didn't have my, because in addition, you don't always have your lanyard kind of on you. You sometimes stick it in your pocket, and I just left mine in the car because the bloke wouldn't let me. I said, the toss, I've got a camera, I've got a Sky Sports microphone. And he goes, until you put your lanyard in, I took it into the car. Got on the pit, and then when at the end of the game I went back to do the post-match interview, and the same bloke went, where's your lanyard? And I went, mate, this is back now, because I'm in prison. I said, we had this earlier. And he said, I said, you know that I'm here legitimately. And he goes, unless you've got your lanyard, you're not coming in. Just a bit of common sense. It was a lot bigger than that, but I
They just sort of spoiled, weren't they?
Yeah, dull old days.
Pioneer, adventurer, leader. It's an instinct to never stand still. Always striving, never settling. Why should investing be any different? After all, your investment challenges aren't standing still. So neither will we. Expect more with iShares.
We're Cambridge, we're Colchester, Felixstowe and Cromer, we're Peterborough, Wellingborough, we're Luton and Acton, we're Hertford and Stratford, London and the East. We're beginners and we're veterans, local and adopted. We're progressive, we're inclusive, we're versatile, we wear our badge with pride. We're those who volunteer endless time, nurturing the future of our game. We're those who inspire others to give it a go. We're those who support with passion, and those who dream of pulling on our shirt. We're strengthening our history to thrive in the future. We are built by our region, for our region. We are sunrisers.
Leaders never stand still. Expect more with iShares.
coming down the hill first.
Very welcome to our Guard of Honour from Merchant Taylors School. Welcome onto the court, our umpires, Scott Bailey and Nigel Long. And the Middlesex team, led by Captain Steve Eskenazi. First ball, Mark Robertson.
Well, good afternoon everybody and welcome to Merchant Taylors School in Northwood, just in time for the start of the match here. Apologies for a slight technical problem at the start. But as you can see, players out there. Middlesex have won the toss, elected to field an unchanged Middlesex side, looking for their first win. So too are Gloucestershire, Rolifson and Dent, the two openers for the visitors. One change from them. Marchant de Lange is in. So running through those sides in full after this delivery from Tom Helm, openers up. Nicked off, fine a gully. First boundary, Dent off the mark. Single for Dent. Solid start. There's the speed gun on Helm, 84 miles an hour. Middlesex's key bowler in the blast this year. Anderson, third seamer with Higgins as well. Stephen Eskenazi will very much look to Tom Helm to be the man to lead the way with the ball. And Blake Cullen, huge amounts of potential. There's a good example down the hill from the Benham end. Slope runs perfectly downhill, no angle across the pitch as you'd have at Lords, pretty much like Hove if you're running in from the Cromwell Road end down the hill. Ball's come the over, running through those sides in full for this blast fixture. Both sides looking to get off the mark in this competition. Gloucestershire a defeat to Glamorgan and a defeat by Kent as well. It's kept a fraction low, as you would see going down the hill here from the Benham end. Dent equal to it. 8 without loss after the opening over. So yes, Middlesex winning the toss, electing to field. Asking the visitors to go out there, set the total on this one. Middlesex are Stephen Eskenazi, the captain, Joe Cracknell, Peter Milan, Max Holden, Ryan Higgins, John Simpson, the wicket keeper, Luke Holman, Martin Anderson, Nathan Fernandez, Tom Helm and Blake Cullen. As for Gloucestershire, Grant Rolifson and Chris Dent out there to open. Rolifson will keep wicket. Miles Hammond, Ollie Price, Jack Taylor the captain, Ben Charlesworth, Graham Van Buren, Matt Taylor, David Payne, Tom Smith and Marchant de Lange being that one change for Gloucestershire. It's Blake Cullen from the Lake End. He'll be right arm over the wicket. Rolifson awaiting. So that one change, Zaffa's out. Zaffa Gohar missing out on this one. Marchant de Lange coming back in. He could be pretty useful on this pitch, de Lange. Had a spell against Middlesex for Glamorgan a couple of years back at Radlett, where I remember the players coming off talking about the pace that he bowled, and in particular on that pitch at Radlett, which had a bit of bounce in it, bit of life. You usually expect that here at Merchant Taylors. That's nicely done, just in front of Holden. That backward point. Deep backward square is where we're sat for the commentary. Deep backward square is where Joe Cracknell's coming to patrol, just behind umpire Long, the square leg umpire. Umpire Bailey. Standing up at the non-striker's end. The other fielder out is deep square, so very much looking to have it on a length here. Blake Cullen, he's just asking backward square leg Holden up inside the circle to go a little finer. That's a sweet pickup. Out to deep mid-wicket, just a single though. Thought he got a little bit more on it. But straight to the fielder. A single more to the total. So for Middlesex, the home defeat to Surrey, then a defeat at Hampshire on Friday night. It's a bit of a baptism of fire for Middlesex at the start of this group. I think it's just off the pad. There was a cry catch it, whether there was a little bit of bat involved. Let's see what the umpire says there was. Little bottom edge onto the pad maybe. Luke Holman doing the fielding. Short fine leg. He's going to switch around to a deep gully as Holden comes across to backward points. Higgins there in the foreground at cover. So mid-off and mid-on are up inside the circle. Still the deep mid-wicket and the deep cover set back. Cullen very much looking to hit the hits hard. It's wider mid-on. Cryer catch it. Helm the fielder, giving chase. Pretty good effort as he runs into the Child's Tirret sign. Fortunately, no damage done to the clothing sponsors. All the way downhill to the lake ends. Yep, just pulled up short. The official clothing sponsor of the county. Oh, that's crunched hard, sweetly struck, straight to mid-off. Eskenazi, the fielder. Top ball 20 over, 2 done. Gloucestershire put in here by Middlesex, 15 without loss. Two-wicket win for Glamorgan against Gloucestershire in that last fixture. On Friday, Gloucestershire were 161 for 9 at the end of their 20 overs. Charlesworth with 56, Van Buren with 32 unbeaten, 37 for Ollie Price. That's a sweet pickup, right up there from Helm. Rollison seeing it early enough, that kind of length deciding to go with mid-off and mid-on up inside the circle. Mid-wicket is set back, but hit much straighter, cleanly clipped. Slump half volley, put away. Edged, no slip, 4 more, genuine edge for Helm. Rollison, the pump of the gloves, pretty happy to get away with that one. Away fine it goes, Simpson no chance. Did see one in the open over from Helm down the slope, just keep a fraction low to Rollison. That one with a good true bounce. Better again from Helm. It's that first ball of the over. Next 2 pretty useful. Yeah, so 161 for 9 Gloucestershire the other day. Rollison got 7, Dent got 11. 4 wickets for Douthwaite in that one and 3 for McIlroy. Glamorgan 262 for 8 in the 20th over with 5 balls to spare. Ingham with 47. That's run fine. And once it's past that circle, then it's going to go. Deep third up inside the inner rope, the inner circle. That's killed nicely, fine of the fielder, goodness me. That was well done. So 47 Ingram, 35 for Carlson, 25 Cook. A bit of a team effort. Van der Houten down the bottom with 21 unbeaten. Getting Glamorgan over the line. Oh, picked up and gone. How far? A fair few rows back. First 6 of the innings. And Rolofsson really getting in the mood for this now. Plays on. Again looking for the dab. Dabbed it down onto the stumps. End of the over. Helm's gone for 26 off his first 2. Tough start for Middlesex's main man. Pace off that last ball. 33 without loss after 3. Cullen's second over. We'll start in a moment. That Kent match first up for Gloucestershire. Canterbury, Gloucestershire decided to bat first. We posted just 113. 55 from Dent at the top, 1 for Olofsson. But then after that, only Price and Taylor, Ollie Price. Oh, hit straight back and gone. What a catch that is from Cullen. Goodness me, that was slapped back hard. Both hands to it. And you heard the sound of it slapping into the hands of Cullen. He holds on to a sharp chance. Middlesex needed that. They had the breakthrough at the start of the 4th, 33 for 1. No 55 for Dent today. Was a fraction short, perhaps just dragging it slightly. Dragging it straight back to the hands of Cullen. Did I say a fraction short? I meant to say a fraction full. Perhaps could have gone through the offside of it, but went with a lot of bottom hands. Looked to slap it straight to the mid-on, slaps it straight back. It's Cullen who's made no mistake at all there. That was a sharp, sharp chance. Middlesex needed that. Brisk start from the visitors. Oh yes. What a piece of camera work that was. What a catch. Miles Hammond in at 3. Scored just 9 in the Kent match. And a first baller against Glamorgan. McElroy trapping him LBW. So a little bit of pressure on the top of the order here for Gloucestershire. Middlesex will be well aware of that. Keen to capitalise on this opening wicket in the power play as well. Quieten down those busy couple of overs that they've had so far off Helm. Up in the air, Cryer catch just shy of Peter Milan. Went for the catch, took the risk, took the gamble. Definitely worth the risk. 4 runs it is to Gloucestershire. Gave himself every chance there, Milan. Realised just at the last it wasn't going to carry. Strong wind here at Northwood today, as you'll see on the shirt of Cullen there. It really is blustery. That wouldn't have helped Milan in his decision making. The wind's coming from over Milan's shoulder, so that ball was going into the wind, which may have affected Milan's call to go for it, which again was worth it. It was worth the gamble. The wicket would have been worth so much more than the boundary cost them. This is good from Cullen. Nice work, Blakey. The call from the fields. If Cullen can kick on this year for Middlesex, then certainly this opening pairing of Cullen and Helm should be a formidable one. It's a lot to put on young shoulders, though. All the talent in the world, 21-year-olds. Oh, through it goes. Big swing and a miss from Hammond to end the over. 37 for 1. Middlesex making the breakthrough. Dent gone. Caught and bowled by Cullen. Crucial breakthrough that from Middlesex. It was just starting to have the field after that third over, so this could really get away from Middlesex in the power play. Helm's done, 2 overs for 26 runs. And Martin Anderson is the man who will come in for a bowl. Number 24 off his 2 at Hampshire the other evening. Now, that was a fair old step across from Rolifson, and Anderson gets away with it. I think that's the question. Someone buy him an ice cream. Is that fine? Fernandez doing the fielding. There's Higgins in the background as well, former Gloucestershire man, made his way to Gloucestershire from Middlesex, now back where it all started. Be a big afternoon for him. Dot ball again. Hammond. Just that one boundary so far, 5 dot balls. That'll be on his mind, even though he's got the boundary. It's well bowled again by Anderson. Good start to the over here for Martin Anderson. Again, there'll be pressure on him at the moment. Roland Jones, club captain, sat on the sidelines. Max Harris made a promising breakthrough match at Lords last year, youngster, but Anderson, an all-rounder. It's a crucial role for him to fill. On a bottom hand again there from Hammond, really dragging across the line. They're going to take 2. Now to Joe Cracknell. This would be a great opening over for Anderson if he can get out of it. Just 3 off it so far. Big confidence booster. Yeah, number 24 of his 2 overs against Hampshire on Friday night against Surrey, 1 for 20. Of 3 overs. Might be a couple here. Big chase for Holman. Single hand pick up and throw to the non-strikers, and they comfortably back for the second. 5 for the over. That's good in the power play from Anderson. Middlesex be happy with that. Wickets just swayed a little bit of pressure back. 6 balls to come of the power play here at Northwood. Middlesex winning the toss and electing to field. Gloucestershire 42 for 1. Change of bowling at the Lake Ends, and Cullen's 1 for 11 from 2 is done. Ryan Higgins into the attack. Last over of the power play, this could really go one or two ways here. Much like Middlesex in 2017, Gloucestershire are desperate to hold on to this man, but made the decision to come back to London. Young family set up life here again. Wide start up. Oh, it gets through Simpson as well. Standing up. Unfair on the keeper. Wides do go down against the bowler though. Keeper standing up, he'll be lost to the sight of that for a split second. It was a big wide down the leg side, just slipped out from Higgins. Up, pumps a bit of pressure onto the bowler. First ball of the over going for 5. Goodness me, that would have been a wide 2. It goes up in the air and over cover. Milan's got a hard chase on here. He does well, holds him to 2. To some extent, Higgins has got away with that. That would have been a big, big wide. It's really slipped out on him the first 2 balls. Full toss, up in the air and away. Just gave himself a little bit of room, kept his eyes on the ball. Eyes on the prize, gets 4 runs for it. Again, it's just slipped out on him. Whether he is going for slower ball Yorkers. The first 3 of the over have not come out at all as Higgins would have wanted. 4 balls to go in the over and there's 11 off it already. We did say this could be a big one against his former county. It's close to where Higgins wants it, but that's brilliance from Rolifson. Proper cricket shot down the grounds. All the way down the hill to the Lake End as well, where Higgins has still got to serve up 3 more deliveries. 15 off this over so far. Timed on that one will be a single. It's Rolifson off the strike, which Hammond will come on to strike for, and Higgins perhaps will be a little bit relieved. It's been a tough over so far. First ball going for 4, a wide down the leg side, so 5 off that. Another single means Rolifson's going to have strike for the last ball of the power play. Higgins goes block hole and Rolifson goes straight to mid-off. Gone for 34. The end to the power play, Middlesex desperately needed. Tough first over for Higgins. He ends with 1 for 17 off it. But crucially, power play done. Gloucestershire, 59 for 2. You always knew Rolifson was going to go for this. Gave himself the room, looked to go over the top. Only went straight to Eskenazi. That'll be a bit of a relief for Middlesex. It's a big way to end what was what a power play which had 3 pretty decent overs, 3 pretty tough ones. But Higgins ending it with the wicket. Not the over he would have wanted, but absolutely taking that final ball. Third time Middlesex have played here at Merchant Taylors School in the T20. The first one was actually on the pitch down by the Lake End, which is where Luke Holman's legsman will be running downhill towards. It's up on one of the main squares, one of 7 squares here at Merchant Taylor School. The first one that they played on this square was Brendan McCullum's debut for the county against Gloucestershire. Single off the first ball. Holden coming in from deep mid-wicket. Long off and long on back, as you'd expect now. Deep mid-wicket, deep square. Deep backward square for... Well, let's have a look as the field changes now for Price. So deep backward square, deep mid-wicket, long off, long on and deep cover. Price's first ball. Decent from Holman, good length, just a little bit of width, which drew Price into the drive. 22 in a few days, Emily Price. Goes the little paddle and gets it away fine. Fernandez doing well on the chase, good return throw as well. The 19-year-olds, in his 3rd match. 62 for 2. Price has gone 12 and 37 in the 2 matches so far. Picked up 2 wickets in that last match against Glamorgan as well. Now, that has really slipped out again from Holman. The wind's just picked up as he's bowled that. I wonder, is the wind putting them off slightly here? It is a blustery wind. Just as he went to bowl that ball, we could feel it down at ground level as well. A real buffering of wind blew across the ground, and did it just slightly do for Holman. Higgins certainly had that interesting opening over running up the hill where it just wasn't coming out cleanly for him. Higgins unable to hold on against his former county. That would have been a big wicket. 3 down just outside of the power play would have been. Good stop by Holman. Cullen comes to credit the fellow youngster. That's a good Yorker from Anderson. Hammond just giving himself room. Anderson's followed him. It's a really good start from Martin Anderson today. Middlesex losing their opening 2 games. And obviously look around the team. They've got 6 players that play 100 cricket. Peter Milan. Block hole again from Anderson. This time just deep in his crease. Hammond manages to find room for the drive. Long off and long on, called up by Anderson. You've just seen him there with both hands, calling them inside the circle. Next ball's not going to be block hole again. Changes it up for this. So long off and long on back, the first 2. First 3 indeed. But sends instead deep mid-wicket back, and so to deep cover. Up in the air. And gone, no mistake this time. Cracknell holds on. Price has gone for 3. Middlesex haven't had to wait too long to turn 2 into 3. 65 for 3 in the 8th. Great over again from Anderson. Really promising start at the Benham end. He's got a wicket as he immediately switches ends to the Lake ends. Angus Fraser alongside myself, Kevin Hand on the mic. Well, 1 shelled in the last over. This one here was, for a moment in the air, you're thinking don't shell another one, because 3 down at this stage is a pretty good start for Middlesex.
Yeah, it's a disappointing drop there by Ryan Higgins, wasn't it? Pretty straightforward catch for a professional player. I suppose you always sort of think, well, they should be 4 down now, but would the batter have played the same stroke had they lost the 3rd wicket in the last over? So the one thing you do know, though, is that Hammond is quite a dangerous cricketer. He's scored runs against Middlesex in the past, so you want to see back of him, as is this gentleman here. Sometimes sort of, might be a bit unkind, but some players you play, they've got a round bat. It can go anywhere, but he swings hard and he can hit a long way. Can Taylor, but yeah, I've conceded quite a few runs in the first couple of overs. Middlesex clawing their way back into this.
It was interesting, 3 pretty tricky overs in that power play, and 3 very good ones, including from this man, Anderson. Nearly through the 2 of them. And as Holman and Cullen come around, you go was the cry from Holman, as Cullen went sliding. Holds him to a couple first ball. Yeah, Jack Taylor is 31 now, Banbury boy. 1 against Kent, and then just 16 against Glamorgan at Bristol. Very, very good over from Martin Anderson. Single to end it. Taylor's on to 3, 68 for 3 Gloucestershire. Let's have a look at wicket. Let's have a look at the wicket again.
Yeah, sort of on leg stump, I think, from Anderson. Hit him with the angle, but picking out the man. Again, I think, although we saw a big 6 hit over square leg in one of the opening overs, the wind is quite strong here at Merchant Taylor's School today and blowing in that direction, so balls you think might clip that might not reach the fielder may reach the fielder, and equally ones you get hold of may well clear the boundary, and it's going to be harder hitting it to the school side of the ground rather than this, the cricket pavilion side of the school.
Cullen's had a good start here as well, just 11 off his first 2 overs. He and Anderson excelled in the power play. It's a tough one for Higgins, who just seems to struggle for a bit of control to begin with. Slips on out down the leg side and a wide that runs away for 4 first delivery. And then what, 17 off the over before he picked up the wicket last ball?
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to bowl slow balls all the time, didn't he? He had 2 fielders out on the leg side, so trying to encourage the batters to hit to the leg side, but they bowled low full tosses that could have been scooped over the offside. 6.
Yep, no doubt about that one, straight off the bat. Big 6 over towards the physio's tent, just underneath the marquee there.
Well, I think with that stroke there, we're seeing the advantage of hitting with the wind. Not a bad ball, length ball there by Blake Cullen, but just helped on its way by Hammond. Won't help Higgins' mood. Seeing that fly over deep square leg for 6.
And again, 6 runs just next to our commentary tent. Watching to see where that was going for a moment. Fortunately, Luke Holman wasn't going to be able to protect us at all. That was always going to sail over him. Cullen had a great start here. Got something to think about. And he's come back over.
Yes, we were saying before the start that we could be in the firing line in this sort of corner of the ground here, although we've got a fielder, Holman, with a good pair of hands in front of us, but it could go over his head quite easily.
Bangs that one in short. I think Hammond could have pretty much expected that one. Drags a single out to deep mid-wicket. Got a couple of cameras sat on the desk in front of us, Gus. What do you think is more of a priority to Middlesex, the safety of the cameras or us?
I think that's self-explanatory, isn't it?
Single nicely taken to mid-on. So basically you and one of the cameras, the other camera and me, they'll sacrifice.
Well, you're quite nearly hiding behind a bit of sort of plastic sort of window sheeting, aren't you? I'm sort of in the middle, but
I'm not as daft as I look. Only nearly.
if you hear that's a good shot and then suddenly crash, it's probably one of us hitting the floor, not the...
It's a nice clip. Thinking 2. Holman just had a little bit of work to get there. He's done well. Excellent return as well. Good backing up. Good cricket. There was certainly a thought of 2 there. We were close to thinking about the second. There's a lovely shot from where we're sat. That's one of those cameras in action. There's the school in the background. And yeah, third T20 fixture here at Merchant Taylor's School. Helmet being run on for John Simpson that you'll see as well by Jack Davis. But second one on this ground. The first one was Brendan McCullum's debut on a day very, very, well, nowhere near as beautiful as today. It was a dark, cold evening when McCullum strode out.
It was a miserable evening, sort of big fanfare over the arrival of Brendan McCullum. Everybody very excited. I think there's a reasonable crowd, not a huge crowd, but a lot of people would have been put off by the cold. I just remember sitting on the balcony watching the game in a jacket and almost hands in your pockets because it was that bitter. So yeah, it's the second one on this pitch. Obviously there's the old boys pitch, which is the north end of the ground where the first game was played against Hampshire.
It's well bowled by Holman. Saw him come in. It was 6 and out for McCullum, wasn't it? He hit it over the commentary tent where we were sat that evening, and the next ball went for the same shot again, hold out in front of us.
I think his bat came out of his hand, didn't he? I think the bat went flying.
Edged, at the leading edge. Cry a catch in the fields, but safe for the cover fielder. 83 for 5.
Just on a lap of the ground, actually went to see the Merchant Taylor School headmaster. Been ordered to his office. No, not quite. Just to say hello and complimenting on how stunning this ground is looking today, and good crowding. A lot of people on that far side, the school side of the pitch. 5 or 6 deep. A couple of temporary grandstands, not quite like grandstand at Lord's, but
swung up in the air. Cries catch it. He hasn't. He hasn't. He has. What a catch!
Unbelievable.
Incredible moment. Absolutely incredible moment. That was as good a piece of fielding as you will see on any ground in the world. And no wonder Holman has run the full length to the boundary rope.
That is one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Just, I mean, I haven't seen it, sort of the replay, and I hope we've got a good replay of that, but that was just amazing. Not that I do social media, but that's got to go viral, hasn't it? That is an unbelievable catch.
There it goes, look at that.
Oh, stunning. James Cracknell, take a bow. Joe Cracknell even.
James would have been proud of that one though.
I don't think he'd have got to that.
Here we go. That is, it's almost once in a lifetime, that, isn't it? He's surely never going to take a better catch than that. I mean, he's a great fielder in the deep, isn't he, Cracknell? He really is, but even he is, look at that. I mean, that's shock on himself. His body will be in shock that he's taken that. The feeling you can't imagine.
Well, again,
really.
it's just sort of, you dive like that, there's a bit of pain there as well, but wow. Catches win matches. Middlesex will be hoping that catch can push them in the right direction here.
Charlesworth is the new batter. 85 for 4 at the halfway stage, or 3 balls shy of it. Dangerous. Taylor is removed. 5 from 5. Almost lost the batter in the moment, didn't we? It was a moment in time, that one, for Cracknell. Top ball, and well, Middlesex will be pleased with this start here. Could have been better. Hammond being shelled by Higgins, but nonetheless they'll be pretty happy. At 3 bad overs in the power play, that can happen. For a catch from mid-off, it's going to be Cracknell who comes around to collect. That is the end of the 10th. So just 3 off the over, and that wicket, that catch. Holman charging to the boundary rope to celebrate. 87 for 4. Anderson's continue. We'll have a look at the end of that catch. We'll have a look at that catch at the end of this over. Bisects the field, 4 runs. Sweet shot from Hammond.
Well, this is the man they need. Middlesex now need to get out. Hammond dropped him at long on. Pretty straightforward catch by Ryan Higgins, so from one extreme to the other, but on that occasion he just swiveled on that and pulled it very hard between the 2 fielders on the deep square boundary.
And for the Yorker, just slips out slightly. It's away with it, just a single out to Milan.
It's interesting, just sort of thinking about, again, in the first few overs we had Peter Milan sort of coming in for a catch and did not get in there and it going for 4, and you're thinking, could he have been more conservative and would have been better off actually just holding back and saving the runs and accepting he wasn't going to get to a catch. But unless you go for it, you're never going to pull off something that Cracknell just pulled off there. So you can understand it's easy to be critical of someone when they don't quite get there, and then again that ball might have died into the wind as it went out towards him. But you see
just a single to Higgins.
You see a catch like that taken and you understand why players do make the effort to go for them. In the old days that would have been just 1 bounce, 4, off we go.
Gets through. Eskenazi had extra cover with the dive, followed by Helm. Hammond's a problem for Middlesex. This is a decent score. I mean, the wickets column's a problem for Gloucestershire, but as long as he's there, he's a big, big problem for Middlesex. He's the chance for Gloucester to push on to 200. Should be a big score in an outground here. Well bowled and well dug out. Anderson, this has been a really impressive 2.5 from him. He's gone for 4 off the first ball of this over, which heaped the pressure back onto him. He'd have been a player who would have been one of those 2 defeats in the first 2 games. He'd have only needed a performance today, and well, so far in these 3 overs, it's been an excellent start from him. Very well bowled again, right up there towards the block hole. Hammond was watchful of that. Hangs his head backwards, feeling he's missed out. Made it on the full in the end, but had he gone any harder, it could have yorked himself. 35 for Hammond. Charles Worthy will have strike on 2. 95 for 4. It's the end of the 11th. Let's have a look back at that wicket then. Taylor caught by Cracknell off the bowling of Holman. Something that really only the pictures can do justice.
Yeah, hit him with the wind. Taylor must have thought when he struck that's 4 or 6. But Cracknell never gave up, did he? Just kept running, stuck out that left hand. Obviously a wicket keeper as a youngster, so he's got a good pair of hands. But that's as good a catch as he won't have taken a better catch than that.
Down the track, charges Charlesworth, but just a single to long on. Holman struggled in his first over, actually. That first ball, I say struggled in his first over. First ball, the wind that we've been talking about, just as he walked into bowl, this whole tent felt like it was going to lift off, and the ball slipped out on him. Single more to Hammond, so it would have been a huge wide Outside off stump for Holman, but it was bat laid on it and just a single taken, but it was right off the back of that Higgins over when the ball kept slipping out on him. That goes up in the air and goes all the way. Charlesworth getting in on the action, brings up the 100 for Gloucestershire.
Yeah, another good strike there. You can tell by the sound that it hit it pretty well. Hit him with a spin into the breeze, but still cleared the boundary by 7 or 8 yards.
Should just be a single out to deep mid-wicket. Yeah, I was wondering on that first ball from Holman, he was bowling at the Benham end down the hill, that first ball. Just spinners get hit by it more, don't they? A buffet of wind like that, all of a sudden you're side on. Really slipped out on him. How much it was affecting Higgins' opening over. Wind's died down a little bit at the moment. Up in the air, over the top, mid-off, up inside the circle. 1 bounce and 4. Has it gone the whole way? No, 4 it is. 4 it is. Long on back, but mid-off up inside the circle, so Hammond knowing exactly what he was doing here. Oh, he's caught that sweetly as well, hasn't he? Only just shy. Very nearly. All the way for Hammond. 40 from 30. Thinking to do for Eskenazi and Holman. Last ball of the over coming up.
Yes, 2 good overs from Holman. This one's gone for 13 so far, so slightly worse, well, quite significantly worse than his figures, but still 21 in 3 overs in T20 is not a lot by any stretch of the imagination. He'll be hoping to get out of this over with a good ball here.
Does so, just a single. 109 for 4 after 12. It's going to be Ryan Higgins from the Benham ends. Change of ends for him. Be interesting to see how the ends affect Holman as well. He started up well from the Benham end, down the hill, up the slope from the Lake end, which I wondered would that help actually his bounce, but obviously more difficult over for him last up.
Well, Higgins will be hoping, Middlesex will be hoping for Ryan to bowl a better over than the first one he bowled. He's going to have his hands full here. Hammond 41 off 31 balls, so excellent scoring rate for him.
Again, slips out from Higgins. Looking like a slower ball once more. Not sure if it was back of the hand, that one. It really seemed to hold back from him and gets away with just a single out to deep point. It's a carbon copy of his start.
Almost looked like a knuckleball, didn't it?
It's run the 2, but Holden running in hard from the deep.
Again, difficult to position yourself here. Must be a good 80-yard boundary, isn't it? Out to where we are, where Max Holden's standing, and the batsman drops it in there. Can you get 2?
Reverse sweep, up in the air. Pete Milan won't get there for the catch. He won't get there for the boundary either. 4 more. Hammond's on to 46. Tough day. The man who made his way to Gloucestershire before coming back, Ryan Higgins. Punch charge, just be a single. Trying to bisect long off and long on. But long off and, I'll try that one more time. Long on and deep mid wicket. Single it is. Again up in the air off the slower ball, full toss from Higgins. Really is looping them, isn't he? Single more for Charlesworth. The cry was catch it. Didn't get hold of it at all.
Well, there's obviously a plan here from Higgins, but it's got a lot of full tosses, hasn't he?
Bowls that one hard into the track, just a single to finish the over. Better come back over from him. Just the 9 off the second over, having gone for 17 off the first. Yeah, he's something in mind against his former county. Hammond's on 48 from 35. He's been around for a long while now. Hammond's 27. It feels like he's a lot older. Debut in 2013.
I remember one of his early games actually for Gloucestershire would have been against Middlesex, certainly in white ball cricket, and came in there and struck the ball. Looked a very dangerous player. I think he opened the batting on that occasion. He slipped down to 3 today, but change of bowling for Middlesex. Nathan Fernandez is on. Obviously Eskenazi trying to give himself a little bit of room for manoeuvre as we get close to the end of the innings. But an important over here for Nathan, playing his 3rd T20 game for Middlesex.
Yeah, just a single. Moves for 49. A wicket with his second ball for Fernandez, who's keeping Tilan Wallaluita out of the side for 3 games so far. Richard Johnson had said that he really wanted to have a look at Fernandez in this competition. Threw him straight in from the off against Surrey. Nice looking shot, just a single. Brings Hammond back onto strike, 1 shy of a half century. And there's the 50 for Hammonds. Thinking about the second, back they come. This could be tight. That's well run. Really well judged and well run. Hammond moves to 51 from 37. Excellent knock for him. 4 fours, 2 sixes. He was put down, he was given a chance. Middlesex paying the price for that at the moment. How big a price will they pay? Charges to meet it again, just a single though. That's for Hammond. It's the 3rd 50. T20s, which seems a little low by his reputation. Wow, that goes big, it goes high, but has he got enough on it? Milan's underneath, the Milan holds on! Middlesex have Charlesworth 13. 1, 2, 3 for 5 in the 14th Gloucestershire. And Fernandez, in his opening over, the 19-year-old has another wicket.
He does probably bowl better balls than that in his career. It's a bit of a drag down. Charlesworth looking to hit to that long boundary into the wind, got it quite high, and it's, well, obviously fell quite short there. Peter Milan maybe struggled with the sun. I'm trying to think where the sun is now. Yeah, the sun would have been in his eyes there, so a good catch by him. One of those ones that looks simple that maybe is a bit more difficult just because looking straight into the sun, but an old campaigner knows what he's doing. Yeah, the sun.
Sun and the
wind. That's why he made hard work of it.
Yeah. I was thinking back to that first one that was just shy of him and bounced and went away for 4. He's got the sun and the wind to contend with, and the judgment out there.
I suppose the one thing you have got is the wind behind your throwing arm. It was interesting looking at earlier in the over when they ran 2 to Joe Cracknell out on the boundary. Again, you're throwing into the wind. The ball's not going to come back quite as quickly.
Graham Van Buren is in at 7 for Gloucestershire. He's a real danger man. Off the mark, first ball. I'm thinking 2, but should just be the 1. Yes, no, it is just 1. Van Buren was ready to come back. 14 done, 1, 2, 4 for 5 as Van Buren gets off the mark, but Fernandez has Charlesworth with a good catch in the deep from Peter Milan. There's a man who can hit the ball a very, very long way, John Simpson. Dropped down a little bit in the order. He's gone up as high as 3 over the years for Middlesex in the blasts. Hammond's final over, 1 for 22 from his 3 so far. Good start with the first 2. It's back to the Benham end where it began. So down the slope, which is a fair old slope, running from sight screen to sight screen. A little bit of width, first ball, just the single as Holden sweeps up out in the covers. Hammond back on strike.
Middlesex do need to get a couple of quiet overs in or another wicket, because otherwise they are going to be chasing somewhere close to 180, 190, which is a big score on any ground. Pitch has played pretty well, fast outfield here at Merchant Taylor's School. But if they're going to get to 160, 170, which will be their goal, they need to get a couple of quiet overs in or take another wicket or 2. Certainly break this partnership.
Up in the air, coming our way, over the top of our tent, a long way over the top. Biggest one so far of the day. Rocking back Hammond, saw it early, made no mistake.
Yep, dragged down there by Holman. Got what it deserved. Max Holden could have made a better effort. Max is in front of us, so.
They just picked him up on the camera. They could see you, not me, fortunately, on the camera. I would have had a few turning off.
A little bit Stretch Armstrong, isn't it?
There's a little noise on that. So just get a little something down the leg side. Let's see what the umpire signals for it. Wide, nothing on it. The bat just clipped the pad. Just a little click as it went through. Cry of no from Holman. The frustration as that one gets through.
Gloucestershire played well. I say just a little bit of room there, enough for the batter to punch it away through the offside. But Gloucestershire showed pretty well there. I mean, whilst Middlesex have had a good over, they've not managed to put 2 or 3 good overs together to sort of really put the batters under pressure. They've managed to, Gloucestershire managed to keep hitting that boundary.
With the width on that occasion, gets away with it. Tumbling stop by Eskenazi. 160 was the total for Middlesex batting first in that fixture that Brendan McCullum made his debut. Should just be a single, and it is. .139 for 5 to go here at Merchant Taylor's School. Middlesex putting Gloucestershire in. Hammond still going on 59 and holding this together for Gloucestershire, but holding it together to the extent that they've got a platform here at the end. Langer hits the ball a long way. If that is the order that they'll go with bringing him in next, not so sure if it is, but Van Buren likewise can be a real danger. And they've got to be wary of a partnership between these two at the last. Blake Cullen comes back. Checking back on that card. So 159 for 9 Middlesex. 60 for Paul Sterling coming in at 3. Milan and McCullum opening. Morgan 13. Adam Voges 52 not out. That's gone. Cracknell, much simpler catch on this occasion. Makes no mistake, Hammond's gone for 59, the big wicket, the one Middlesex desperately needed. He was holding together this Gloucestershire innings for the most part. They've still got a foundation built by him. Boy, oh boy, the host needed that.
Good, important wicket. Middlesex got wickets at the right time. Straightforward catch there by Cracknell. What's all the fuss about having held that previous one? Blake Cullen sort of tied off stump line. Batsman trying to give himself a bit of room. Probably looking for that third man. Carve it over the backward point area. Didn't quite get enough on it, but he's played a really good innings there for his side. There's blokes who can hit the ball keep coming, don't they? DeLang. Big, strong South African. Two South Africans out there in the middle.
Almost a bit of the Tyrone Henderson's about him, isn't there? Henderson was up on mic a couple of weeks ago with us on commentary. 2008 T20 winner. Yeah, Middlesex themselves posted 159 for 9 in that one, and Cobain, he had a fine run against Middlesex over the years, didn't he? 40 off 28, Dent 45 off 40. Benny Howe 37 off 26. Seeing Gloucestershire home to a 4-wicket win.
The last over there, wasn't it? It was the last. I think it was
one ball remaining.
One ball remaining.
Powers out to Holman at deep square.
Merchant DeLang's played himself in. Made his intentions clear.
I was saying he bowled at Middlesex at Radlett in a white ball game of a few. Was it a white ball game? Playing for Glamorgan. Yeah, it would have been. Cause I don't think they played the first championship match by then. He steps across fairway there. Does he get away with it in terms of the wide? No, he doesn't. Wide is signalled, and they'll pick up the run. Cullen hangs his head back. With the little
slower ball.
The little skip across, I thought he was going to get away with that one. A real effort ball from Cullen on that. It's going to go for 2. Oh, there's a slip. Now, is that going to be costly? DeLanger's fine. He's back. Big slip at the non-striker's end from Much. DeLanger. Big man took a while to get himself up again, but comfortably back for the second. Swings hard at that one, managed to get it pretty flat. Well, if there was a fielder in position down the line of that, then they might have had a chance in the air, but as it is, it crunches into the iShares advertising board.
Strong, powerful swipe. As you said, a flat hit. I think if it had been a fielder, it had to be straight to him. 5 yards either side, he would have struggled just because of the way that he struck that delivery. But again, Gloucestershire fine in the boundary, so yes, they're losing wickets, but that run rate is still 9.5 nearly.
That goes big and in the air. It should have enough. Does it have enough? No, it doesn't. Higgins lines it up. Higgins has the catch. Well, put one down earlier. This is a crucial time to take another. 150 for 7. And DeLanger, if he'd have got going, then there could have been a few more sixes flung around Merchant Taylor's school.
Yeah, very casually taken there by Higgins. By the way, he was lining it up. I thought he was behind the line, so it was just a sort of bit of a futile attempt. But no, he's judged that perfectly, actually. A very good catch. A lot going through your mind when the ball's coming to you there. Keep your feet this side of the line. Still got to keep moving sideways. Having dropped a rather straightforward one earlier in the innings, held on to a good one there. So another important wicket for Middlesex, but again, 10 runs off the over for Gloucestershire. So that scoreboard's keeps rising.
As he lined it up, I thought he'd lost hope. I thought he was thinking this is sailing, but lined it up perfectly. Cool as a cucumber on that one, Ryan Higgins. So Van Buren is still there on 7, 150 for 7. They've just got to be a little bit careful themselves here now, Gloucestershire. Taylor comes out.
There's still 4 overs to go. I say only 4 overs to go. It's the 5th of the innings, isn't it? But still looking to be aggressive now. I think when you're 8 down, you maybe think, well, let's try and make sure we get as many as we can. But equally, 185 all out in 19 overs is better than 182 for 8 in 20. Which was the thing that Owen Morgan was trying to sort of educate everybody on. When England were in the World Cup, it didn't matter that you missed out on the overs, it was what the total you finished with was important.
The other thing they've got to factor in is Tom Helm, who is a fine death bowler. So he'll bowl 2 of the final 4. Picked up 3 wickets in the final over against Surrey the other day. Slow ball, well bowled, and that's what he does so well. It's the slower balls at the death.
And that's the thing that the lower order batsmen struggle with, really. It's low full toss they can hit, but it's the mixing up, it's spotting the slower balls and almost identifying your scoring areas when that comes down to you. But again, these lower order players spend a lot of time working at their batting than the likes of myself and others did back in the 80s and 90s.
Taps that one fine, should just be the single, is it? No, they're back for 2. Well run. It's dragged in the air, but wide of the fielder. And just a turn and chase for mid-wicket.
Another 4. Keep sort of saying Gloucestershire do keep finding the boundary. 7 runs off this over to date. 2 balls left. Run rate consistently good. Well, in the last few overs certainly been well over 9 and over, so that's 180 plus you're looking at.
Slow ball slapped down the ground. Higgins giving chase, but left by mid-off for Luke Holman coming around from long on. Eats off the over. Probably feel a little bit rough about the boundary because it was in the air for a long while, dragged by Taylor. Middlesex's main man with the ball, Tom Helm, in the T20. Pace off again to finish the over, just a single. Tab's fine. 159 for 7, end of the 17th.
Just looking there, Blake Cullen's bowled out, so he's bowled 4 overs, 3 for 38. Good wickets, but a few more runs than he would probably wanted to have conceded. He bowling out means that Martin Anderson's going to be bowling the penultimate over at the north end of the ground. Figures there 1 for 17 off 3, so very good to date. We're looking to finish off strongly here. Not there, that's 6.
Mind your heads. Let's look out the tractor. Big start to the over for Gloucestershire. Slower ball, but somewhat into the slot. Credit the batter though, Van Buren. We did say when he walked out, it could be a real danger man. And that's 4 more. He's probably thinking this is his moment, Van Buren, and that Anderson's the man. As well as Anderson's bowled today, Helm at the other end to bowl the 19th. Van Buren's probably made the decision. It's Anderson that's got to go if he can.
Well, I say this is an important over. Well, they're all important in 2020. You've only got 20 overs, but 10 off the first 2 balls. This over's under pressure now. Gloucestershire got as many runs off 2 balls, so they've probably hoped to have got off 6. So everything near a bonus. That score now up to 170. Strike rate getting close to 10, which is 200, which would be a big score for Middlesex to chase down.
Should just be a single. Out to Milan. She gets Van Buren off strike. He's on to 20 from 10. Over to Taylor. 2 overs from Ryan Higgins. 1 for 26. It's probably going to have to be Higgins then who bowled. Well, it will be, won't it? 2 bowls the final over. Helm to bowl the 19th. Up in the air. Underneath it's Helm. And Helm holds on. 170 for 8. Taylor goes. No doubt about it. They're really going for it hard in the 18th. 8th wicket though. And a second for Anderson.
Yep, you could tell there straight away he hadn't quite got hold of it. Sort of wind behind you, but coming from that direction. But Tom Helm's taken a safe catch 10 or 15 yards in from the boundary. So a welcome wicket, welcome dot ball. Having seen the first 2 balls go for 6 and 4. Anderson under pressure. The good thing for him is now the change in the law means that the new batsman is on strike rather than Van Buren. He'll be hoping that he can get out of this over with minimal damage.
32 now, David Payne. High score of 10 in T20 cricket. 34 innings. Low full toss, chip back over the bowlers' heads. They'll look for at least a couple here. Is it straight enough? Ryan Higgins and Tom Helm combining, but great work by Higgins again.
Excellent bit of fielding there by Higgins. Saved a couple of runs.
In the air. Oh, just short. Eskenazi then putting the throw in for Simpson. Has he done that, Simpson? My goodness me. Simpson charging up late, whipped off the bails. Looked to the umpires, not out as they're through. But calamity cricket all round as that one nearly carried to extra cover.
That should have been a wicket there. John Simpson, I think he was guilty of ball watching there. Should have got to the stumps. If it got to the stumps, it would have been a straightforward throw there for Eskenazi to the keeper. John Simpson slow to the stumps and batters managed to get back in.
Top ball ends the over, 172 for 8. It means Van Buren's got strike against Helm. 3 for 35, 3 overs going for 35. Helm, wicketless so far. He'll feel a little bit rough with a couple of those boundaries that have got away so far today.
Yeah, it was an interesting field by Middlesex at the start, wasn't it? No third man, and 3 edges went through that area for 4. Pace off again from Helm. It's a single out to deep cover. It means Van Buren loses the strike. So it's the one thing you always think, well, that's 3-4 save. Well, no, it's 3 singles. There'd have been a single, maybe 2 to one of them. So, but 12 runs when you could have got away with 4 or 5. But those are the tactics.
What's Payne do here against Helm? Drop the single, give it back to Van Buren. He swings for the sky and he's out. Then all of a sudden you're a wicket away with Van Buren at the other end on 21 and deliveries to come.
Yeah, I'd like to think, well, I'd like to think that the logic would be get something on it, run a single and get Van Buren on strike to see whether he can find a boundary or 2 in these last 2 overs to get Gloucestershire up to that 190.
Edged, gone. 173 for 9. And well, this is Van Buren's nightmare. He's at the other end. There are 4 balls to come of Helm's over. Such an excellent death bowler. And Middlesex are now 1 wicket away.
Yep, nice nick there through. Clear sound. Almost nicked it over the stumps, hasn't he, there? Remember Philip Tufnell doing that once to a quick bowler. He got an outside edge and it bowled him. Yeah. And that came off and asked, was I backing away? And you think, Tuffers just think of the sort of physics of that. But Tom Smith, he's a nerdler. He will certainly be looking to give Van Buren the strike, that is for sure. Played a lot of cricket, obviously with Middlesex for a number of years. Top man. And he'll be, I'm sure, taking the practical and sensible option. Just watch him swing from his backside now, and the sky went up in the air.
Actually, he's a very good batter, isn't he, Tom Smith? Not a bad man to have coming in at 11. I think they have mixed up this order at the end because he was a little bit higher on the card to begin with. 35 now, Tom Smith. Oh, it's well bowled by Helm. This is what he does so incredibly well at the end. To sky slower balls. As he said, hard enough to judge for the top order.
Well, he needs to today because he went for a few in the first couple, didn't he? And whilst there were, say, a couple of edges down to 3rd man, where there was no fielder, he also got clipped for 6, clipped for 4. So a couple of bad balls that were punished.
Rides that well. Was pace on that one from Helm. Single down to long leg. 2 to go at the over. You'd have to think that Van Buren's thinking this exactly the same. Find a single here and survive a delivery, Tom.
Yes, that's what Middlesex's final over. It's going to be Higgins, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he might sort of think, well, there's someone that I can try to get after. So maybe this isn't the ball to risk it all for. Except maybe we just get 3 or 4 runs off this over and then look to get double figures off the last.
Can't believe that Van Buren will go after Helm here. Slower ball wide, I think. Oh, yes, no, then they're thinking about running the singles. It's just on the line, that one from Helm. Filled up, final ball of the over.
No.
Is he going to try and stop the single? He brings mid off up. Long on stays back. Deep mid wicket back. Deep square. Deep covers back. And deep third will be the
Sounds to me that it's going to be a short ball here. But this could go flying if Van Buren swings hard.
Now he's dabbed it and he's got his single. 19 gone. 175 for 9.
I don't know whether that was a double, triple or quadruple bluff there from Tom Helm. Everything's set up for the short ball. But he's got a good length ball and he's got his figures back well there, having been expensive in the first couple of overs. I think his last 2 overs probably only went for about 10 runs. Wicket of 2-2.
Higgins' first over went for 17, his second over for 9. And he picked up a wicket last ball of that opening over. So big final over for him here against his former county and against Van Buren, who a little bit is seen in the Higgins role as such for Gloucester, having lost Higgins back to Middlesex. Van Buren's got that middle order role, bowls the overs as well. No run. Rejects the single first ball.
Looking for 6s and 4s. Straight. At least Higgins knows what he's set up for anyway. He's left him in no doubt that he's after you, Ryan.
Long off, long on back. So too deep mid wicket. It's up there and run fine. Good piece of fielding.
It's a fantastic stop there by Fernandez. Saves 4. Gloucestershire again turning down a long single.
Use of the feet, up in the air, should be the end. 2 underneath it, who gets there? Neither. Higgins going backwards. Eskenazi, I think Higgins had called it. Eskenazi's got a smile on his face. It's another dot ball. It's the most dramatic final over for no run up to 3 deliveries. Crunches that one, and again rejecting the single. 4 dot balls. Well, Higgins' figures are looking fantastic now. Two deliveries to come. Pressure's on Van Buren now, he's got to deliver something. That's given width, and that one goes, 1 bounce and 4. This was his gamble. Try to find the boundaries. If he gets 10 off the final over, or gets 8 off the final over, he's done his job. Deep backward point set back. Deep,
just a bit too much width there, wasn't there, from Higgins, but it's been a good over today. I mean, it wasn't the length of the ball was right. Yorker length, so a big delivery this for Middlesex. Finish it on a good note.
Sung away. They'll look for 2 here. Deep mid wicket coming fine, and 2 it'll be to finish the inning. 6 off the final over. Good over from Higgins. Van Buren chance in his arm that he could find the boundaries. Higgins goes for 32 off 3. Having gone for 17 off his first over. It's a good comeback from him. 181 for 9. Van Buren holding it together at the end. 50 for Hammond. Well, it was 159 that Middlesex posted here against Gloucestershire. Many moons back now. In only the second T20 here, this only being the third, but 181 on any pitch is something to bowl at.
It is a mixed bag from Middlesex perspective. Some really good stuff, some stuff that could have been better. Most notably probably the drop catch by Higgins at long on, when Hammond was probably in single figures, wasn't he? Not sort of low double figures. But again, there's been some good moments there. They come back strongly. They've held the nerve. A couple of good overs to finish with. It looked like at one stage Gloucestershire may be looking to get 200, but Middlesex be happy to restrict it to 180. But 181 is still a lot of runs to chase down, and they'll have to bat well.
Angus Fraser, thanks very much. From myself, Kevin Hand as well. We're going to take a very short break here, hoping that play won't be resuming at 4:53, but in just a couple of minutes' time. Join us back in a few moments, folks. We'll pick up the commentary. 182 is the target for Middlesex to win. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Merchant Sailors for the chase. 182 the target for Middlesex, Eskenazi and Cracknell out to open. Cracknell on the left there, who took, well, one of the best catches that you're likely to see. Stunning effort at deep mid-wicket to get rid of Taylor. One-handed, on the run, on the dive. Could be a big moment in the match. Hammond with a 50 up at the top for Gloucestershire. Van Buren with runs at the bottom, but when Taylor and Hammond came together, it was a point where you thought they really could start to charge, start to push that target up and over 200. Having been put in by Middlesex, so Gloucestershire were asked to set the target here. Asked to find their way. That man in shot as well, David Payne. He's going to be a real danger man as ever. Part of that side that was called up by England's a seaside as such. John Simpson in it as well. Was that a game at Gloucestershire, in fact, when they all got called off in the Cheltenham Festival? When they all got called up, I should say. Payne from the Lake End. Oh, now was there a little bit of bat? It sounded like two noises to me. Shake of the head from umpire Bailey.
The wind would have helped Payne's in-swing. Maybe he did just get a little inside edge, but good shape on the ball there, back into the right-hander. Cracknell yet to get going in this competition. Keen to get some runs. Sure he'd rather be looked back in this game as a match-winning 60 or 70, as well as the catch.
Good from Eskenazi, little use of the feet, trying to negate that movement, pick up the single as well. Get Middlesex to tick him. Thinking about two, but should just be one at this stage. Cracknell sent back. No, the call from Eskenazi, rightly so. Run out in the opening over against Surrey, Stephen Eskenazi. Eskenazi looking to pull out the tricks early on. Slower ball as well from Payne.
Well, again, it's interesting. We're talking about Middlesex's field at the start of the Gloucestershire innings, and the fact that no third man, no fine leg. The two fielders are out deep square leg, or deep backward square leg and deep mid wicket. And Gloucestershire adopting the same tactics here.
Wristily done as ever from Eskenazi over the top of it. He's managed to turn it into two as well. That's really good cricket, really good running. 4 off the opening over.
Yep, quiet over, quiet start by Middlesex. Just going back to those fields, if you haven't got a third man, you have got a sort of man catching almost on the gully lie. As a bowler, you've got to be pretty disciplined with your line. You can't afford to give any width, and the bat thrown thrown at the ball suddenly opens up that boundary. But Gloucestershire, as they have done on a number of occasions, mixing things up. And Tom Smith looking to take the new ball. So again, putting Middlesex's batters under pressure to try to take the game to them rather than using the pace of the ball. Imagine Middlesex might be looking over on this offside for boundaries.
Swept in the air. It's going to be fine of the fielder. He'll get away with it. It was in the air for a long, long time. Cracknell, and he'll get 4 for it as well. Took the risk. Deep mid-wicket and long on a back. Gambled that he could get it fine enough, I guess. Only just shy of top edging it for 6. Scoreboard will catch that up in a moment. It was 4, that first ball of the over, so 9 without loss. Sweeping hard and flat. Already taken that from a long way outside off stump. Controlled, powerful. Eskenazi's first boundary.
That's a lovely shot, that is. Whilst we saw Cracknell's was a bit sort of edgy, that's a very controlled and hard sweep there. As soon as he hit it, he knew that was 4 runs. So Eskenazi's off and running.
Tickled. It was in the air for a moment. Nobody in particularly short at mid-wicket. It was only mid-on. Let's come and collect. Nice use of the feet and a lovely shot. Beautifully chipped back over mid-off by Cracknell. Good cricket.
Yep. Sweep at the start of the over was a bit more uncontrolled, but that's a beautiful stroke there by Cracknell, using the wind. Just knowing that if he can get the ball a few yards over the fielder's head, it's away.
Pierces the field. Oh, that's a great stop. Really, really good. That looks 4. As he nearly got it through, but Hammond picks himself up, stretches out the lower back a little. Had to be on the stretch for that one. And as Cracknell placed that, it looked as though he'd got enough on it and positioned it well enough to get 4 more. He moves to 9. Middlesex 17 without loss after 2. Could be 19 for 2, and they haven't caught up that 2 just on the scoreboard yet. Just away from the umpire there as umpire Long at square leg. Umpire Bailey standing at the moment with his arm out. Umpire Long, I think, has just signalled to the score box the error, and it's changed now. 19 without loss. Ooh. Swinging hard across the line at that one. Cracknell.
That's been changed. Little things like that annoy you as a player, because it's sort of distraction that you don't need.
Leading edge, but safe. All on the floor. Squared up a little bit by that one. Closing the face eagerly towards this onside. Mid-on and mid-off are up. Deep mid-wicket back, so it's a comfortable 1, possibly 2 for Cracknell, just trying to drop that into the onside. Deep backward square. Also in position and a short fine leg on the onside. Taylor's pace mixing it up at the moment. That's just come off the rib of Cracknell. 2 rib buys. Slow ball bowled into the deck, and Cracknell's capitalised on it, just gave himself a little bit of room. He's picked up the pace of that pretty early on.
Yeah, more controlled stroke there by Cracknell. Earlier deliveries looking to get over this leg side. Hit with the angle, the left arm seamer coming around the wicket to him.
Just a single to Price, running away from in front of our commentary tent at deep backward square. Eskenazi's pretty distinctive style, that. Just managed to steer the ball, but with such good timing. 27 without loss at the end of the third.
Yep, 8 off the over, so another pretty good over there for Middlesex. Tom Smith's over, expensive over. Conceded 15 runs, I think. Immediate change. DeLanger, who will undoubtedly be the quickest bowler on show here today. It'll be interesting to see how the Middlesex batters look to line him up again. Anything with any width here, throwing the bat, you feel that the third man area is a big area, but equally if he gets it straight, hitting him over that mid-wicket boundary into the wind is going to be something of a challenge. So if DeLanger gets it right, it could be hard to face.
Looking for the second here, but back they come. And well run, Eskenazi grounds that bat. Pressure put on the fields. Big swing and a miss. Yeah, DeLanger, I was going to go back to a game at Radlett a few years back. I remember Darvin Milan having faced him and coming off. It was a lively track at Radlett that day, and he just said the pace of DeLanger was something else. It was just so fast, so hard. Some wristy steer again. Oh, the throw down of the stumps, they're safe, they're home. Excellent piece of fielding. Good cricket all round, decent ball from DeLanger, but the adaptation from Eskenazi here.
Slower ball bumper, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, but you don't often see that stump out of the ground with the other one still with a burl on.
Top edge, gets away with it. And down the hill at the lake end will be 4 more. Cracknell's on to 20, Middlesex 34 without loss.
I don't know whether that was just a glove actually. Sort of soft noise as it hit Cracknell. Probably was just a glove, but extra pace, bounce on that ball, and it gets the fielder running there and the slope here towards the athletics track at Merchant Taylor's School. You've got no chance of catching that.
Leg side, gets away with it. Gets away with it big time. Cracknell kicks at the dirt.
Yeah, would have felt that's in the slot. We've seen two excellent bits of fielding already by Gloucestershire. As a side, they're renowned for the quality of their field, in the athleticism, the energy. We've seen two excellent stops which have saved 7 or 8 runs to date.
That goes up in the air, could be trouble. Mid-wicket's coming around, he might just get lucky, and he does, just shy of the fielder. Cracknell picks up a single. Couldn't have landed better for him in that infield up inside the circle in the power play. 4 done, 35 without loss. Cracknell will keep the strike. He's kept his wicket as well. .59 for 2 Gloucestershire have been put in at the end of their power play. Higgins picking up that wicket. Last ball of the power play, getting Roelofsen. He'd given it a really good start, actually. Mentioned the runs of Hammond, but Roelofsen right back at the beginning. 34 from 19, 5 fours and a 6. Single first ball of the over. He only went for 4 first over, Payne. No doubt about it, he's the biggest danger.
He's skillful, isn't he? When I was an England selector, sort of raised his name in conversation, certainly in white ball squads, quite a few occasions, because again, just being in the southern group in T20, you see quite a lot of him.
Crunched hard, but straight to mid-on. Langer fielding. Single more.
And over the years, realised there's been a bit of pain in the backside for Middlesex in the way that he's bowled, and he's bowled well. He's a very skillful bowler, a bit like Chris Wood from Hampshire. Two skillful, thoughtful, intelligent bowlers, certainly in white ball cricket.
Use the feet from Cracknell up in the air, mid-off inside the circle. He's going to have a chance, and it is he just out of reach. Dent running backwards, not to be a Cracknell moment for him. .66 miles an hour, it said that onslaught ball from Payne. Cracknell was nearly to the pitch. And the pace off as well, he had to account for. That's smeared. It's a job to do, a job he can't do. It's 4 more. Nice shot from Cracknell, nicely timed.
Struck that beautifully. Felt that was going to be 4 if he'd got the positioning right. A few weeks ago, the outfields and around the country being very slow and damp. It had died after the first bounce, but on this occasion, didn't lose any speed whatsoever.
Rory Coots and Richard Johnson, I'm not sure either are renowned for their fielding. It's crunched hard, a little closer to Price on this occasion. Just a single. They're thinking 2, but it should just be 1. It is.
Well fielded. That's really well fielded there. Quick flat throw in.
You mentioned the outfield being quite dry, actually. That was my one question before the start when I saw a few of the players. If you had a look, and they said it's actually a lot harder than we thought it would be, the surface.
I must say, the ground does look stunning. Absolutely. Congratulations to the ground staff.
Run fine. Oh, it's a good one-handed stop. Singles there for Eskenazi. 45 without loss after 5. 1 over to go at the power play here at Merchant Taylor School. Middlesex, who put Gloucestershire in, restricted them to 181. Solid start. Not spectacular just yet, but 1 over left to the power play. With that wickets column saying none down, you can fancy that the pair of them will say in this over, whoever's on strike is going to go for it. Going to try and find something big in this over, which could put them into a very good position. Taylor went for just 6 off his opening over. Leg side around the wicket as well. Yeah, we haven't had a chance really to touch on any talk of the pitch, but the whole ground, as I was mentioning, it has almost a festival feel to it. Not quite the Cheltenham Festival, but it's got a nice feel about it today. You can see the tents up.
And a good crowd, 2,000 people in, so I think they're hoping somewhere 1,500, 1,800. So the fact that it's got up to 2,000 is nice to see. And that's 4 runs, beautiful stroke.
Alan Coleman steps out to show Richard Johnson and Rory Coots how to field.
Younger man.
There he is. I think that was the chief executive behind him, Evan Anata. Dabbed for a single. 6 off the over so far. Middlesex up to 50 with that boundary. Where can they take it in the last 3 deliveries of the power play? Gets it through. Use the feet. Low full toss, thick off the outside of the bat. 55 without loss.
I know the figures will be out there, but Eskenazi has been a wonderful white ball cricketer for Middlesex in the last few years, 3 or 4 years. And the amount of runs he does score through that back foot point area. It's really intelligent batting, using the pace of the ball. It's not a highly populated area. I think it tends to be less risk.
Picks that up into the onside. Has he found the gap? He has, and he's found it all the way. 6 runs. Very, very well played by Stephen Eskenazi. 2 set back there, right down the middle of the pair of them.
I think we've seen his 2 strokes, haven't we? There's the open the face, slide, use the pace of the ball down to third man, whack point, and then that very good pick up over the leg side.
Inside edge on that one, they get a single to the short fine leg. Last ball of the power play. Very good one for Middlesex. 59 for 2 with Gloucestershire. Middlesex 61 without loss after 6. 62 up without loss.
Yeah, an excellent start by Middlesex. Their last over there made a big difference. A couple of 4s and a 6. It's almost as though you get to this stage, everybody sort of takes a breath now, don't they? 6 overs out the way. And where'd you go? Middlesex will want to keep pushing. We saw Gloucestershire keep pushing. Kept clearing the boundary. Also lost a few wickets, which I suppose cost them maybe a little bit towards the back end of their innings. But Middlesex will want to keep looking to be positive, look to be aggressive, take the singles as well as use the wind, this fast outfield, hard ground. And the longer these 2 stay together, obviously the better.
Very encouraging start for Cracknell and Eskenazi. Delanga, 8 off his first over. He'll bowl the first over outside of the power play. See mid-off's up inside the circle. So too is mid-on. Deep backward square and deep mid-wicket. Deep cover, deep third and long leg. If he's going to bowl a Yorker, it'll have to be right on the spot.
I was going to say, it doesn't suggest he's going to be pitching much up.
Just a single out to deep mid-wicket. Eskenazi and Cracknell will be well aware what's coming with that field. Slow ball. Run the first hard. Cracknell's coming back comfortably for the second. Good cricket from those 2 again. Middlesex need them to form an opening partnership, a good opening partnership. Cracknell elevated to open alongside Eskenazi and Holden making way going down to 4. I think it was Richard Johnson or maybe Eskenazi himself said after the Surrey game that the thought process being Holden's a good player against spin. Let's put him in the middle overs. That goes down the leg side. It was a dull noise. And it was just the hip guard on the way through. You could clearly hear a noise, and it was ball on hip guard. A wide signalled, so it wasn't bat on hip guard or bat on pad. Oh, wow, now, did that take something? I think it did. No, buys, just lifts and flies up the hill, up the slope. 4 buys.
Good pace there from Merchant de Lang. Oh dear, that's lucky not get away with a wide there, I think. So as Cracknell backed away a little bit, but you just get the feeling with this length, if Cracknell swipes hard, gets to the top edge, it's going to fly quite some distance to fine leg. Wind assisted. Gloucestershire need a wicket. Maybe looking to trying to get the Middlesex batters to try and clear this leg side boundary.
Goes full with that one. Inside of the bat, down to long leg. Hangs his head backwards. Feel he's missed out on a couple. That leg side one that hit the hip guard through to the keeper.
Just look at the other keeper being disgruntled there. He's only gone for 4 runs off those balls to date, 4 byes. Didn't have much of a chance with that one.
Down the track comes Eskenazi. He gets an inside edge on it as well. Single to end the over. Was it 9 off it? Those byes as well. 71 without loss after 7.
Keep going, man! Come on! Making this fun! Keep going, James!
Single off the first ball from Smith. Big job to do here now for Gloucestershire. They need a breakthrough. That's a fine, fine shot by Cracknell. 4 runs. He's into the 40s.
The way that players play now, it's difficult as a bowler. That's a lovely shot, isn't it? Not much. I mean, Tom Smith let go of that ball, thinking there's not a lot wrong with it, and batter's manoeuvred himself and just had a comfortable 4.
It's a nice comeback from Smith. Cracknell's had to be very wary, check the shot. Versing again, just a single this time to the fielder in the deep. Single ball.
Come on, boys! Come on, boys! Come on! Wake up! Come on! Let's go! Boys, 1 and 2! Come on! Come on, Spike!
Oh, it's going to be close and gone. Whether he was just outside the line of off, that was Cracknell's thinking. Got that pad a long way across, but it hit the inside of it. A fine 42, a good start here for Middlesex. Not to be a 50 today, but he's had a decent day in the fields. A very good start with the bat as well for Middlesex.
Yeah, breakthrough that Gloucestershire required. Tom Smith losing his run up to begin with there. I don't think that was a deliberate sort of sneaks up behind the umpire. Have a close look at this. Yes, it's a pretty straight and just enough, hasn't it? hit him on the pad. And he goes, having, as you said, played a really useful innings there for Middlesex. Got Middlesex run rate down below 9, 8.67 required. Replaced the crease by Max Holden, so Middlesex going for the left-right combination rather than Peter Milan, who's been the batter that's come in at number 3 in the previous games. And it's going to be spin at both ends now from Gloucestershire. The Van Buren replacing DeLang.
43 against Surrey for Max Holden. He's in a partnership with, I think it was Eskenazi. There was a bit of chirping when Eskenazi fell. That's a good start by Van Buren. Darts that one through to the gloves. Oh, yes, no. No in the end was the agreement. Yeah, Holden looked as though he really wanted to tee off after a little bit of a dispute at a dismissal, but only managed to get to 43 if he'd have kept going. He was hitting it sweetly. Fancy Eskenazi will know now that it's a good start. There's still a lot of work to do, but the loss of Cracknell, 30 from 23, is a chance for him just to settle in, not get carried away. It'll be a big wicket for Gloucester if they were able to claim him right now.
Well, one thing we did see with each of Gloucestershire's batters is that they came in and they were aggressive from the first ball, weren't they? But Middlesex just having a quiet moment here. 4 dot balls in, well, 1 run in 4 balls in this over. And so the wicket on the last ball, so that's 2 runs for loss of a wicket in the last 6 balls from Middlesex. But the start that they've got off to, they don't have to panic.
Eskenazi's got 1 and 31 so far, the 31 at Hampshire the other evening. End of the 9th, that brings the run rate down. 81 for 1 required for the first time, climbs over the current. Only 1 wicket down as Middlesex about to hit the halfway stage. Got plenty in the tank, but they'll want to get back ahead of the game. It's the pair that exchanged the list A record last season. Holden had 166, which he'd taken from Andrew Strauss, hadn't he? He'd scored that against Surrey at the Oval, who in turn had taken it from Barlow all those years back. But Eskenazi with 182 last year, taking the list A record off Holden. Nice use of the feet and a lovely shot. Sweeper coming around. DeLang holds him to a couple. Good stuff from Eskenazi though.
Great call.
Bowled by Smith again. Yeah, part of the theory of Solds dropping Holden down to 4, right, is elevated back to 3 today, but it's to play the spinners in the middle overs. Reverse from Eskenazi. These two looked as though they were starting to get a good partnership going in T20 cricket at the top. Cracknell pushed from 3 to open. Milan usually down at 3.
Lovely boy.
Use the feet again, just a single. Well bowled Smith.
Just watching this, Gloucestershire getting a little bit of control here. Middlesex will be wary of this. We're talking about the Gloucestershire innings, and they didn't really have a couple of overs where Middlesex dried the runs. That was a good over. Then there was an over that sort of conceded a boundary or 2, and I say since the fall of Cracknell, 11 balls, 6 runs scored.
Run single again. One's come of the over. The fall of Cracknell. Sounds like a medieval war. Oh, fumble. They might think about 2. No, just the single. 5 off the over. Good from Smith again. 86 for 1. Midway stage for Middlesex. 9.6 required. And well, that man could well be the main man. He's certainly given it a good start with Cracknell. Fine partnership. Very solid power play. Well, off the bat, you fancied that that was going to go a long way, and it did. Sweet, sweet sounds. As Eskenazi picked that one out. You're going to have to go and pick him out of the bushes now.
That was a strong strike, that, by Eskenazi. Well, looking there, just good foot outside off stump, so he's dragged it over to his side. Important shot, just releasing a bit of stress. You felt Middlesex last couple of overs against the 2 left-arm spinners from Gloucestershire, struggling to get the ball away. Following the loss of Cracknell, almost need to get that momentum going again. It's amazing how one strike affects run rate, doesn't it? It's sort of always 9.65 required, 8 point whatever, 8.6 1.6. It suddenly sort of changes it round and brings it more back to parity.
The old limited edition Felix project top in the background, that green top, green Middlesex top, 1 off game. That swept hard. Oh, that's good fielding by Delanga. Goodness me, that kicked up on him. It was an ooh from both Gus and Ian. Delanga looks around with a big smile on his face at the cameraman who was right behind him. Let's watch that last bounce. Oof, up towards the chin, he's done extremely well. Holden strikes that clean and straight. Very good for his first boundary. Middlesex 97 for 1, starting to motor again. A little short, just dragged it slightly. Yeah, theory of him dropping down. The one thing that I was quoting it back the other evening, Adam Gilchrist, when he was at Middlesex, was big on the left-handed, right-handed partnerships out there, wasn't he? And I think we're dropping Holden to 4. That's well run. Very good cricket again.
Well, Max Holden is one of the quickest on the staff, and as you said, the 100 up there for Middlesex. Warmly greeted by this good crowd here at Merchant Taylors School. 2,000 people in today.
Goes again, off the bat again. That sounded big, and it was just as big. Over those tents once more, and it's 50 for Eskenazi. 33 deliveries, raises his bat around the grounds. And the skipper is leading the way for Middlesex here. As we said, he got a 31 and a 1 in the 2 games previously. Finding his way.
Yeah, big over that for Middlesex. Couple of quiet overs before it. But Eskenazi didn't quite get hold of that one like the first one. You thought, is it going to be the catch? But the wind sort of got behind it, and it was quite a comfortable 6 in the end. It wasn't just over the deep fielder's head. It would have gone 5 or 6 yards over his head. And another change for Gloucestershire. Tom Smith bowled a good last over, but it's been taken off. Price comes on. Is it his brother who got the hat-trick and 100 in the same day?
Yeah. Quite the achievement. I think we were together that day, weren't we? We mentioned not quite the Kevin James century in 4 and 4 in 4. Now it swept hard and straight to the fielder and gone. First ball, Holden holds out. Price given the wicket. Taylor holds on. Didn't take a look against Price. 106 for 2.
Yep, straight end. That's right in front of us where we're commentating from. You could just see that he picked the man right out. Middlesex lose their second wicket. Holden goes for 7. 106 for 2.
So Peter Milan comes in at 4. Middlesex is overseas. Brilliant innings, it really was. An outstanding 80 at Hampshire the other evening. Standalone though, really. Eskenazi, as you said, got into the 30s. Need another partnership from these two here again to get Middlesex home to their first win. Both sides having lost their opening 2 fixtures in the Vitality Blast. Good crowd in. Nice day for it as well. If you're in the sun, it's pretty nice today. If you're sat in a tent, it's a bit of a wind tunnel.
Yeah, the wind's quite cool, isn't it? It's a northerly, northeasterly. Bit fresh but important moment this for Middlesex. Started well in both of the T20s they've played to date and then fallen away and need to keep going. Milan's been in good form. They'll be hoping that he can continue that today.
And drops a single. He's thinking 2 here, but deep mid wicket's close enough. I mean, having Milan come in at this point, dropping down to 4. I'm not against that, actually. Middlesex's best player, really, coming in at 4. Single taken. Generally, you know, unless somebody is truly a middle order batsman, you want your best batters up at the top, make the most of the power play, top 3. But all that experience Milan has, it just feels he's the kind of head in the middle order that could really help out. Cracknell and Eskenazi and Holden get about the power play in the top 3. Proof will be in the pudding here. 2 from 2. They need him to do something of a finisher role today. It's Eskenazi's 17th T20 50 in 72 innings. Average just below 34, that 1 century, 102 at Lord's, unbeaten. Oh, bowls him. Darted that one through Price, and 2 in the over. A wicket at the start, a wicket at the end. Middlesex have to be careful now. Milan goes for 2, 110 for 3.
Yeah, big over there for Gloucestershire. A wicket, 1st and 6 balls, 4 singles in the middle. Milan's been in excellent form, but leaving his stumps open there, looking to scoop it over. Short third, missed it. Pays the ultimate price. Middlesex wanting to keep this left-right hand combination going. Luke Holman's making his way out to the crease. Had a quiet T20 with the bat to date. That's Middlesex's problem so far. They started well and then fallen away. They need someone to make sure that Eskenazi doesn't feel that he's under extreme pressure and has to take the big risks. Players got to come out here and score freely. Keep this run rate at around 9 and over. Don't want to get up to 10, 12 and over, which will be the fear.
Talked him out there, didn't I, Milan? Saying that having the experienced head coming in the middle of the innings might be more advantageous. Letting the likes of Eskenazi, Crackland, Holden rip at the top. Talanga's 3rd over, number 13 so far. Holman's first ball coming up. Made his debut in the COVID year. Middlesex played Sussex at Lord's in a September 1st T20. Promising young all-rounder. Eases that one off the stumps to backward point. 550s in first class cricket, 150 in T20s, 32 innings for him now, 150, average of only 20. Strike rate of 130 though, so he gets off the mark second ball.
Just feel the pressure rising on Middlesex here, lost those 2 wickets in the last over. Just felt it ease a bit when Eskenazi hit Van Buren for 2 sixes in the penultimate, or the previous over from the bottom of the north end here. But Middlesex now needing to respond to the knockback.
Steers that one for a single. It's a tough position for Eskenazi now with those couple of wickets. They need him to hang around, but equally he's on 53, 54 now. Equally need him to keep the strike rate up. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't at the moment. Needs some help at the other ends. He played well run. Grunt from De Lange as he released.
Boundary. Middlesex need a boundary here. 4 runs off the previous over, just 4 off this one to date. Run rate suddenly going up to 9.5 for an over.
You're wide. Umpire Bailey stretches out the arms. I did see him in the interval actually, Umpire Bailey. I said, for once you're lucky out there, it's freezing in this tent. He said, nah, and that wind hits your back, it's pretty cold out there, he said. Must be from the ends. Oh, mind you, he was standing at the other end of the first innings, wasn't he? No, he was that end. Bowls in. Eskenazi's gone for 54. That's a big moment. And that's a big punch of the air from De Lange. They'll know just how big that wicket is. End of the 13th. Eskenazi, again, good start for Middlesex. Fine individual innings for him. But 115 for 4. There's still a lot to do for Middlesex.
There is. Middlesex's innings falling away in these last 2 overs. 3 wickets. 8 or 9 runs. Eskenazi not really, I suppose he's planned to play a stroke. Potentially been outfoxed there by the bowler. Almost sort of looking to pick it up, but it wasn't there for that. And a half-hearted little swipe, he's lost his middle pole. So an excellent innings by Eskenazi ends. But Middlesex 4 down now, and as you said, with lots of work to do.
Well, as you said, the pressure was building, and that's the pressure telling on Eskenazi. Caught in 2 minds, perhaps. Middlesex dearly love to be clearing the ropes, knocking off these runs, but that's far easier said than done. The pressure of not allowing the required rate to climb, but equally not wanting to lose wickets. Its little tumble now has put a bit of pressure on, and Holman and Higgins are going to have to build a partnership here. Give them something to launch at. 7 overs. 9.57.
Another change of bowling. Gloucestershire captain certainly not in letting Middlesex batters settle. Price off 2 wickets in the over, replaced by Smith.
Swept hard and swept for 4. That's a good shot from Holman. Very useful cricketer to have. Bat and ball, Luke Holman in all formats. Big job for a young man to do here though. Width on that, it was just turning back inside those lines, so it wouldn't have been a wide if Hammond left it alone. It's the single.
So Higgins against his old county. How's it going to work?
Or Smith against his. who comes up
That's
trumps.
true, yes.
They managed to pick up quite the procession from Middlesex at one point, didn't they? George Scott, Tom Smith. Tom Lace as well. And Ryan Higgins.
Run rate slides above 10 and over for the first time. Run rate required.
Last ball of Smith's day. Just 5 off this over. And just 6 off the over in the end. 1 for 33 for Smith, former Middlesex man. Former Sussex. Former Surrey as well. Very well settled in the Gloucestershire team now. 121 for 4 after 14. Still John Simpson, the biggest hitter of the lot at Middlesex to come. But they won't want to leave it too much later, Middlesex. They need to get a partnership going and take a real chunk out of this last, what, 62, 61 more required. Taylor immediately around the wicket again. It's a well-run single, well backed up as well.
Middlesex can't sort of push around for too long here. They've got to start finding the boundary again if they're going to chase down these runs. What he sort of says stays in the game, take the game deep. Strange things can happen, but need to start getting some momentum behind this batting.
Nice shot. Very nice shot. Really good from Holman. His second boundary. He's into double figures. Sweetly done.
Need a few more of them. Middlesex need a big over here. That's a lovely drive. Looking at mid-on and mid-off up for Taylor. I think that's the area where Holman's got to try to go down the ground.
Just the one to deep third. After 16 overs, after 15 overs, Gloucestershire 139 for 5. How costly those final couple of overs will be for Gloucestershire if Middlesex can take it deep. That goes up in the air, the cries catch, just short, oh, and it gets through as well. Hammond, I think he was right to go, everybody cried catch it.
That was a bit like Peter Milan's at the start of the Middlesex or Gloucestershire innings there. Thought it was going to carry, but just failed to get there. Horrible bounce. These ones can take your teeth out, those can. On this occasion it's gone through him for 4, so much needed boundary for Middlesex.
It was Higgins that put down Hammond early in the Gloucestershire innings as well, wasn't it? Deep thirds there, just a single. One's come of the over, 132 for 4. Run away, fine, and 4.
Was that deliberate? Looked like he might have been going down to third man, perhaps not as fine as that. Yeah, he's run that down. I've got to give him a bit of credit there. So, skillful shot there by Holman, and a good over for Middlesex. 15 runs. Suddenly gets that run rate back down from 10.5 to 9.2. What do you say? Gloucestershire 139 for 5. So, virtual parity in this match at the same stages.
And you think how, I say bad, but not ideal the last 2 overs were for Gloucestershire. So if Middlesex can take it right to the end, just have to be wary of that wickets column. And this man, David Payne. Interesting they brought him back here early. Done for 14 off 2. First ball is pulled hard, pulled flat by Higgins for a single. He'll want this against his former county.
Nice if he bowled one there to Holman, who I think could clear this boundary here. If he drags it down. Looks like he's limping, doesn't he? Looked like he's been limping all day. I mean, when I was comparing him to Chris Wood at Hampshire, who's obviously had long-standing knee problems. I know Payne sort of had some injury issues too. Easy for me to say.
A bolt. Dug out by Holman. He's had that one knock so far this summer, really. That 63 unbeaten first game of the season in the second innings against Essex, when he was desperately trying to get the chase going. Run out of partners. This is good again from Payne. He'll know pressures on Middlesex for runs. Backing himself, block hole deliveries, the last 2.
Boundary would be nice for Middlesex. One of these last 2 deliveries. It's been a good over by Payne to date. Just the 3 singles.
Yeah, time's ticking, isn't it? It's amazing how you do have an over sometimes or 2 to gather yourself in a T20, but all of a sudden the 3rd and 4th overs in that run.
Yeah, well, you were sort of mentioning about the Gloucestershire sort of had a couple, or Middlesex had a couple of good overs at the back end of their innings. They've got Payne, who's a high quality bowler. He's creating the same sort of pressure on Middlesex here.
And there's Holman's response, straight down the ground. It's a lovely shot from Holman. He's into the 20s. Gun barrel straight back over the bowler's heads. Middlesex needed that. 7 off the over. 143 for 4.
So needed a boundary. Holman's produced the goods. Umpires to be on his toes. I was umpiring Saturday in the Middlesex League. Oxley second 11 versus Crouch End. No one was hitting the ball back that hard though. And if they had, it would have just hit me.
And then you'd have hit them.
It's like I'm like a sight screen at one end.
That must be some sight if you're batting. I don't know which is worse, if you were the bowler or the batter, and Angus Fraser's the umpire.
That was very fair. Lots of good appeals. Good. I enjoyed it actually. Good game down at Osterley. Osterley won by 21 runs.
They'll look for a couple here. Deep mid wicket comes around, back they come. Good run in. Good dive from Higgins just to make sure. I think he'd have been safe anyway, but they'll know this game's on a knife edge at the moment. They won't want to give anything away cheaply, Middlesex. That's a nice shot, powerfully struck.
That's a great shot there by Higgins. Stayed in his crease. Slower ball from De Lange. He's waded for it and clouted it through the mid-wicket. Middlesex need the axeman to get going.
Well, he got going the first 4 games of the season, a 50 in each of the first 4 championship games this summer, and all of them were first innings 50s as well. Astonishing run for April's PCA Player of the Month.
De Lange change in the field, looking for his deep backward square to go a bit squarer, so Marlborough will be looking for similar tactics, but just a bit more cover in that area of the ground.
The single just shy of mid-on. He got 42 against Surrey, that ended the run. The Surrey match, the defeat at the Oval of 50s for Higgins. 31 in the second innings against Somerset. 7 and 27 so far in this competition.
Again, down the ground is the area where there aren't any boundary fielders, but is De Lange going to bowl a length that's allowed to hit there?
Single to cover. Deflects out to goes out to deep mid wicket, who was backing up, but Holman had run the first so hard he'd overshot a long way.
Don't know what he's done.
8 off the over. How many do we want for the last 2 balls?
Now he's put it onto the hip of Higgins, gets away with it. Just a single to deep.
It's a bit unlucky there. That was a good shot there. 5 yards either side, and I think that could have been 4 runs. Pace on the ball.
Well, bowled to end the over to Langer, a Yorker dug out by Hammond for the single. 154 for 4, 3 overs to go. Middlesex just starting to get going again. These two, 23 and 17, put it together after, well, the tumble of wickets, in particular the fall of Eskenazi. There's the worm.
It's a pretty good one, that, isn't it? 2 very close together. It's been nip and tuck the whole way through. Who's going to win these last 3 overs? 1 over either way, you think. It'll be a big one. Middlesex can have a good over, an over where they get 15 runs. It's theirs for the taking, but equally Gloucester should take a couple of wickets and restrict it to 4 runs. They'll fancy their chances of defending this total. Price back into the attack, 2 for 4. I think he took his solitary over to date. Looking for the same.
Yeah, it was the double at either end, wasn't it? Bookending the over. Picked up Holden at the start. Hold out. Price's first ball to deep mid wicket, and then Milan missing the reverse sweep. Well, no missing that reverse sweep from Holman. He's on to 27. Nonchalant from the big man.
He hit that hard, didn't he? Almost stung when he hit it.
It's a wide, left alone by Holman. Well done. 24 from 17. When he's at his best, Holman, it looks incredibly easy. He looks so laid back. So he's got all the time in the world. Sweeps this one fine. Deep backward square leg. Giving a hard chase to Langer. He won't get there. Holman into the 30s.
9 off 2 balls for Middlesex here.
The pressure swings all of a sudden. Incredible. 31 off 15 for young Holman.
Jan.
Young Mr. Holman. His brother Jan's a nice bloke though. Kicks away at the bat in frustration that he didn't get that one home. Mustn't get too frustrated here. Middlesex just pushing some pressure back onto Gloucestershire. That's in the air, but safe. Field is up inside the circle. Careful with the Charles Tyrwhitt sign, Mr. Holman. He's on to 35. He's got Middlesex motoring.
Yeah, bowler's not quite sure what he's going to do. 2 reverse sweeps, 1 sweep, 3 boundaries. .13 off the over, 2 balls to go.
And again, Holman's on to 39. This is brilliant. Brilliant from Middlesex's all-rounder. Partnership piles on between these two. It's crashed past 50. Holman's crashing through these runs.
Yeah, stunning reverse sweeps there. You watch them practice in the nets against a bowling machine hour after hour, and this is the reason why.
Oh, he's bowled him round his legs. And Holman has to go. Gone for 39. He's produced some big shots there, though, for Middlesex. 39 off 18. The partnership, 55 for the 5th wicket. It should be match winning for Middlesex. A runner ball from here. Holman's disappointed he wasn't there to see it home, but he's done an awful lot of damage in the process.
Yep, excellent innings. Little cameo there by Luke Holman. We're talking about this being a big over. Could Middlesex get 12, 14 runs? End up getting 17 off the over. Broken the back of this Gloucestershire total. 12 off 12. It's amazing how an over like that, all of a sudden your run rate from 9.5 comes down to 6. I think 2 boundaries now and you're through. Still got to be done though. 5 down, good players in Middlesex's batting order still to come, but these two, Ryan Higgins will be wanting to make sure that he's out there orchestrating this right to the end.
Well, 1 over to be bowled by David Payne, which is this over from the Lake End. None for 21 from 3. The danger man. Gloucestershire will very much hope that he can have the final say in this one.
Come on, Payne.
Top ball to start up. Slow ball angled across the right-hander.
Brilliant set.
So they just don't want Middlesex to start panicking, says I. Sort of said, whether by the fact that you say that suggests you are yourself, but it's not the case. But take the runs that are there.
Brilliant, David.
2 dot balls. Well, teams like to win it in the 19th, but again, it's Payne bowling.
Brilliant.
The final over, Matt Smith, no disrespect whatsoever, but none for 37 from 3. They're up against a man who could do an awful lot of damage in this over if he gets in amongst them. Full toss to get that one away, and he might get it away for 4. Deep covers giving chase. He'll certainly get back for 2. 172 for 5. 10 to win from 9. Still Middlesex's game. 3 balls left to this over. They won't leave too much in the final over, but equally that gamble of going against Payne at this point could be pretty risky. Simpson yet to face at the non-striker's end. Slow ball, well bowled, just a single. square coming up. Simpson here probably has a bit of a free hand, doesn't he? With 2 balls to come of the over, he hasn't faced yet. Higgins to see home the final over perhaps, but Simpson, does he take a gamble? Does he think, right, it's Higgins to face the final over?
Wicket's a dot ball. So all of a sudden you're 3, maybe only getting 3 off the over, leading 9 off the last over, which I know that's been the run rate throughout the entire match. But Middlesex would like, even if you got another 2 or 3 runs off this over, to suddenly go in there needing 7 or 6.
Batters have come to have a chat. Higgins charged down to have a word with Simpson. Whether he said exactly that, listen to Angus Fraser, not Kevin Hand. Just push it around. He goes big and he gets away with it. Long off was back. Singles taken. It was high risk from Simpson. He gets away with it.
I thought it was quite a good shot, actually. Mid-off back on the boundary. Hit it hard to him for a single.
So it's me panicking.
Single now.
Another good shot for a single, down to long on. So Higgins will have strike for the final over. 7 to win. Higgins is on to 21 from 19. Simpson 1 from 1. 175 for 5 Middlesex.
Well, these are situations where anything can happen. And whilst we sit here and Middlesex rightly should be consider themselves to be favourites at the moment, 1 boundary, and that sort of all but secures the match, you would feel. But all of a sudden you lose a wicket to the first ball, new batters in, 7 off 5. Things can get twitchy quite quickly.
It's a scoreboard Middlesex would have taken 100 times out of 100 if you offered it to them at this stage, isn't it? But even still, it's cricket, and we all know what happens. Tom Helm defending 5 to win a match at Lord's a few years back. He defended 5 to draw a match at one point as well, didn't he? 175 for 5. It's Taylor to bowl the final over. Single, first ball. Just, could be overthrows, backed up. Just the single. 6 from 5 needed. Simpson on to strike.
Well, the dilemma is you can go for that boundary that secures it, but there's obviously risk attached to that, or you take the singles and just kick the can, or the moment that you've got to do something more decisive down the road just a little bit.
Pressure all round here. Most pertinently on that man. He'll know if he's off line slightly. Middlesex virtually win it in 1 shot. Oh, well bowled, pace off. Simpson swings through the line. Dies underneath his bat.
Now I know it's only 6, but it's up to 9 and over again, the rate, isn't it?
Both sides awaiting their first win. 2 defeats from their opening 2 games for the pair of them. Down the track, he misses it. It just misses the top of off stump. Pressure's building. 6 from 3. This is the pressure of having lost the opening 2 games as well.
Well, you say now, Gloucestershire probably in the stronger position.
Long off, long on back. Gets that one away. Just a single over to Higgins. 5 from 2. 2 off the over so far. Those 2 dot balls looming heavily in between the 2 singles so far. Well, they've got their money's worth.
No, it's been a fantastic game of cricket for those that have turned up, but Higgins needs a boundary, doesn't he? Middlesex need to find a boundary now.
Taylor, all having a chat. Experience pain as well. the left arm seamer. 2 balls to go. Long off and long on remain back, so nothing in Higgins' half. Crunch hard in the air. Oh, it's a great piece of fielding. They'll come back for the second. Chance of a run out. They'll be through for the second. 3 to win off the final ball. Outstanding piece of fielding by Hammond. Well, if Gloucestershire win it, that'll be the moment that saved the game.
Stunning bit of fielding. We were talking early on the fact that the Gloucestershire fielders had saved a couple of boundaries. These little things add up. 2 for a tie. It's going to take a boundary to win it.
What a moment this is. 2 defeats each from their opening 2 games. Could it be the tie? A point apiece to come out of this one. You almost feel as though that's the fair outcome. It's going to be pretty cruel on whoever loses this if they do. Defeat as well. 3 defeats to open the group stage. Will be pretty hard to come back from. Hampshire, of course, had that wretched start last season and went on a run, but all that's a long way away at the moment. 3 runs to win, 3 runs to avoid a 3rd straight defeat. Plenty of time taken over this final delivery as they orchestrate the field. So, long off and long on are back. Deep mid-wicket, deep backwards square. In fact, deep backwards square is free. So deep mid-wicket it is. Deep point and deep extra cover. The 2 back on the offside. Last ball. Oh, he goes to the scoop. They're going to run the single. That's not going to be enough. Higgins gambled and it didn't pay off. The run out to win it, it didn't matter. They were going to run it. They were going to win it anyway. And Gloucestershire have held on at the last. Just the 4 off the final over. And Middlesex, who'd been powering their way through this chase, just couldn't come up with the runs at the end. Gloucestershire fight back hard. Well, it's cruel that one of them had to lose it. A great game of cricket. Incredible finish. And a Gloucestershire win by 2 runs.
Yep, I suppose it's where you come from, isn't it? How you look at that. Middlesex, a game that's got away from them. That 17th, 18th over, 17 runs came off it. Middlesex seemed to have broken the back of this total. But then the loss of Holman, Simpson missing 2 wild swings. And Middlesex failing to get enough bat on ball in that last over or 2, but equally you can also compliment Gloucestershire for holding their nerve there. Kept their disciplines and walk away. I suppose deserved winners, you've got to say that. Well played Gloucestershire. Just that little bit better than Middlesex. A couple of fielding mistakes, a drop catch. Improved performance for Middlesex, but as you can tell there, the players bitterly disappointed with the fact that they've not managed to get over the line.
You very rarely see that man not smiling, Ryan Higgins, but he's got a heavy look on his face there, hasn't he? 24 of 22, and he was run out off that last ball. Middlesex won't quite believe, really, that they've lost that one. So many good moments, but as you say, perhaps a few crucial moments. That drop catch of Hammond early on, they paid the price for, but they'll look back at that and think they've recovered it themselves in other areas. But again, just not really having the finisher has been a case a lot in these first few matches, hasn't it, with the bat?
Yeah, so you look at that over, and as I was saying, really, you go into it. Higgins takes a single off the first ball, fair enough. Simpson on strike. Does he go for glory, trying to find the boundary? Does he push the single? Just to sort of push it further down. Twice he went for glory, twice he missed. And all of a sudden, you need a boundary. Whereas you might have got there with some singles and a 2. But Gloucestershire held their nerve, and I say, Middlesex will be sat in that dressing room feeling a bit sorry for themselves, because that is a game they will believe they should have won. But it's been a fantastic game of cricket, and also you've got to say congratulations to everybody here at Merchant Taylor's School. An excellent surface to play cricket on, a good crowd turning up, and hopefully they'll come back on Wednesday and see something similar. But with Middlesex this time getting over the line.
I guess there's something about you lose your first 2 matches, winning's a habit, isn't it? You know that doubt then almost doubles, doesn't it, when you have them? Because you look at Middlesex's card, Eskenazi 54, Cracknell 42 at the top, then Holden 7, Milan 2, fine. But by the time you get to Holman 39 and Higgins 24, you're chasing a target below 200. You think, you know, if you're kind of looking at that card from afar, you think, well, these guys have got it. They've had 2 serious partnerships there. And that's what will frustrate them massively, really. I guess that somebody hasn't been able to see that home.
Yeah, I mean, it was nip and tuck for most of the innings. Middlesex had an excellent start, then they lose the wickets. Obviously, Cracknell, Eskenazi, Holden, Milan getting out. But I say the big over was the over from Price. And again, you sort of, I don't know, it's easy to be wise after the event, that's the thing. And you think, well, 19 off the over, or sorry, 17 off the over. Does Holman push a single? Take that. And then look to sort of carry on in the next over rather than risking bringing a new batsman to the crease. But it's easy to say, sat here, and equally they're out there in the middle. They've got a feel for it. They know what's taking place. So, yeah, it's bitterly disappointing for Middlesex, having played so well for periods of that match. But Gloucestershire's nerve, they held their nerve, didn't they? Taylor and Payne bowling the last 2 overs and bowling them well.
Extraordinary finish, extraordinary game, wonderful game of cricket. Gloucestershire winning by 2 wickets. Angus Race, thanks very much for your help today. From myself, Kevin Hands, and from the stream team here at Merchant Taylor School. Be back on Wednesday. Glamorgan, the visitors, as Middlesex will look to get up and running with the victory in that one. Not to be today. Incredible game of cricket, which will feel pretty rough, pretty sore for Middlesex right now. But Gloucestershire win it by 2 runs.
Pioneer, adventurer, leader. It's an instinct to never stand still. Always striving, never settling. Why should investing be any different? After all, your investment challenges aren't standing still. So neither will we. Expect more with iShares.
We're Cambridge, we're Colchester, Felixstowe and Cromer, we're Peterborough, Wellingborough, we're Luton and Acton, we're Hertford and Stratford, London and the East, we're beginners and we're veterans, local and adopted, we're progressive, we're inclusive, we're versatile, we wear our badge with pride. We're those who volunteer endless time, nurturing the future of our game. We're those who inspire others to give it a go. We're those who support with passion, and those who dream of pulling on our shirt. We're strengthening our history to thrive in the future. We are built by our region, for our region. We are sunrisers.
Leaders never stand still. Expect more with iShares.